The time has come for me to say goodbye to Cura. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Canadian Maker Project. My name here is Ron. I'm here to help your creativity and understanding of 3D printing. And today I'm going to talk about something that's been bugging me for a little while now. I have switched from Cura to Cura Slicer. Now you're probably going, wait a minute, you are a big component of Cura. You like Cura. I do like Cura. But Cura has become very, very finicky to use. I wait for long periods of time for files to load up, show me what's going on, and then it takes forever for that file to render. I don't know if it's something that's going on as soon as you hit slice. I don't know what's going on that's causing this, but lately it's been almost impossible. So I kind of said, you know what, I'm done with it. And I moved over to Cura Slicer. At the time, Cura Slicer 2.5 came out. And 2.5 was a big jump, including the option to use Arachnid, which is the Cura slicing engine in Cura Slicer because of the open source. So they took it and they put it into their slicer. Big game changer. You can print with a bigger nozzle and get some amazing quality. I'm telling you, like 0.6 on Prusa 2.4 was pretty okay. As soon as they went to 2.5, it was like, I can print a 0.4 object. Looks like a 0.4, well, 0.6. Game changer. Totally game changer. Now we have 2.6 out now. And 2.6 implements something that 2.5 should have had in the first place. Tree supports. That's right. The same tree supports that are in Cura are now in Cura Slicer. Prusa went to Cura to get some help to build the put those into their slicer. So now they have it. So I'm going to go through the installation, my setup, because I already have presets already installed. So I'm going to have to go in and remove them and then turn them back on again. And you guys get an idea of how to uninstall stuff too. But my install is going to be different from your install. And I do apologize. It's going to be a little bit of a messy thing here, but I'm going to do my best to help you guys out. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the other screen. Now, mind you, I am looking at my other screen is somewhere else here. Let me just shrink myself down. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to start up Cura Slicer 2.6. There we go. Okay, let's follow the instructions. We hit next. Now you can set this up for yourself or everyone that uses a computer. I'm the only one that uses a computer, so everyone's okay. And instead of my C drive, I'm going to put this in my D drive. Now you can put this wherever you want. This is just where you want to install it. I have multiple drives on my computer, and D is my multi-use drive. Now I turned off all this because it's not required. You don't need the drivers. You don't need the firmware because if you're not running a Prusa printer, you do not need this. The only files I left on were utilities and common files, just in case I need anything from there. Hit next. Do I want my desktop? Do I want my start menu? Yes. And then I get the ability to, do you want to install this on your computer? Yes. So while this is installing, I'm going to let this go, and I'll be back. Okay, install has now completed. We hit finish. And that's it. It's installed. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to open up the program. And I'm going to have some printers installed here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my configuration wizard. Now, when you first install this, you might have configuration wizard open up right away. This is the configuration wizard. So you can even go in here. You can turn on and off printers that you need. First, I would check Prusa, make sure all of them are checked off unless you have these printers. If you have these printers, you want to make sure you got them clicked. I have other printers, so I'm going to go right to Creality. So Creality, I can turn on and off certain things I want. So I know I got a Creality Ender 3 Pro. So I'm going to put a 4 nozzle on there, and I print with a 0.6 nozzle. On my Ender 3 Pro, I know I print with a 0.4 only on that printer. So I'm going to say, yeah, we're going to go 0.4, and we're going to hit finish. I'll add other printers in the time. Right here is the Ender 3 Pro. Now, if you look at my drop-down menu, I also have the Ender 5 Pro, 4, and 6 nozzles. So that's already programmed in here. So if I need the 0.4 nozzle, I have my 0.4 settings. If I need 0.6, I got 0.6 set. Very simple and easy to do. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move myself again. Whoa. Oof. Oh, boy. That's tricky. Anyways, we're going to go over to print settings. In print settings, you got all your options here. So as you can see, you have a lot of options like 8, 12, 20, 0.20 millimeters, 0.20 millimeters, whatever speed you need. Now I'm going to take 0.24 draft speed. First layer height is 0.2, second layer height is 0.24. That's simple. I want 3 walls as my perimeter. So in Cura, we call it walls. In here, they call it perimeters. You want to print a spiral like a vase. Vase mode is on here. Very simple to explain. Now, whenever I'm printing objects, I like to go with a 3-3 system. 3 on the walls, 3 on top, 3 on bottom. I find if I need more walls, then I will program that in. But in reality, 3 is pretty damn strong. So let's leave that at 3. Minimum shelf thickness. Now, this is something you can set up yourself. I don't play with it. I just let the computer calculate it itself. Now, do I need extra perimeters? Now, I should explain to you. I'm running this in advanced mode. Simple just looks like this. It doesn't give you a lot of options. Advanced gives you more options. Expert gives you all options. So if you feel a little intimidated by expert, you can always turn it off. If you feel like you just want the plain simple, you can turn all of them off and just have simple on. But I find I like to have all the options open in case something pops up and I go, I need that option. So next is infill. Explanatory. You have all different types of infill. I'm just going to leave this at cubic. I've always been a fan of cubic, but you can change. You can pick your own. But cubic is probably the fastest and most easiest to use, and it is strong. And it is fairly well strong. Blah blah blah. Nothing else here that I want to change. Gird and brim. This is where I have an issue. I do not like loops. I always set that for 0. I find it's a waste of filament, honestly, but in some cases, you might want it on. That's up to you. What is draft shield? Well, draft shield builds a wall for ABS and such to keep the heat compact and it doesn't get it cool. If I'm going to print that, I'm going to have it in an enclosure. Just something I would do. Support material. This is where it gets fun. This is where you can set up your supports. So I'm going to turn off auto generate because I don't need that on right now. I'm just going to turn on generate supports. And grid is the old style of supports. If you want organic, that is tree supports. And that is in Cura. Now, well, that's from Cura. That's now in Prusa. So the reason I get this all confused, and I'll explain this in the most way, is because Cura went to Prusa. Well, actually, Prusa went to Cura, I think, and asked for help to build their tree supports. So it's kind of like they're already almost like Cura, but not quite. But you guys get the idea. Speed. This is where you would set up your speed, infill, small parameters, all that great stuff. Also, your first layer travel speed. Now, if you have multiple extruders, then you would use multiple extruder. If you are an advanced user, you want to set up your push and receive and all that other stuff, that's where you would do it. Output options, same idea, notes and dependencies. That's all a little bit more advanced than what you would need to know. Mind you, if that's something that you want to do, it's there for you. Let's go into filament settings. Now with filament settings, I have already a preset already done for filaments.ca PLA, which is what I usually use. Let's make one for, I don't know, eSun, okay? So I'm looking at this. I'm like, okay, eSun, well, I find it cooks better at 220. for stickiness, and I can go 215 with the nozzle. I can also set its price. I paid, let's say $20 for it. Density is okay. Extrusion multiplier okay. Diameter is okay. Spool weight would be 1 kg. Would be 1,000. Okay, don't like that. I guess it'd be 10 G's. Would be 10 grams. No, would be 100 grams. Would be 100 grams. I think that's it. Measure the weight of the spool. What is this? Oh, it wants me to weigh the spool also. Yeah. We'll just put 100 grams just for fun. We're going to go to cooling. Cooling is simple. I have my fans to turn on. I want them to be cool. Let's say I want to disable the fans for the first 3 layers. And I want my max fans to come on 3. So that's 4, 5, 6, we'll say 7. That's adding the disabled fans plus that's fan. As it says in the instructions right there. Fan speed disabled, blah, blah, blah. And that's what I like about it is also it tells you when you hover your mouse over it what it's telling you. So it can be handy. Now, if you have dynamic speed control and you want to set it up for dynamics, you can do that. Cooling thresholds you can set up too. Cooling thresholds is pretty easy for PETG, but personally myself, I don't feel like I need these turned on, so I usually don't mess with them. I just let them be. As long as I know that I've modified what I want. Now, once I'm happy with that, I'll hit Save Presets. And I'm not going to call this filaments.ca. This is ESUNPLA. I hit OK. Now, ESUNPLA is on my list. So I want to print with, say, some Prusa ASA. All the settings, as you notice, just changed. And if I go over to my filament, it's totally different too. Well, that's a lot of temps. So I'm going to change it over now to, let's say I want to use ESUNPLA. Boom, there's ESUNPLA. No, I want to go over to filaments.ca. Boom. Filaments.ca changes again. So you can program any of your filament that you use constantly, like I do with filaments.ca or ESUN, and boom, it instantly changes it for you. That's handy whenever you're printing anything, I find. Let's go to print settings. Print settings is interesting because this is where you can set up your G-code, set up how you want the unit to print and everything else. Like if you look at my custom G-code here, oh, look at that. We are missing something. So I have the heater already heating up to 150 degrees on the nozzle. I don't want 150. I want it to be at 170. Okay. M140 first layer bed is setting up the bed temperature. So I look at this and, there's a partial. It gives it 30 seconds for the nozzle to warm up. And then it does a G28. Well, I got a probe on that printer. So I'm going to say G29. And have a probe and just put a note that this is for probing the bed. Probing the bed. There we go. Now, after it's done its probing, it's going to heat up the bed to the nozzle to the final temperature for printing, and it's going to make sure the bed is at is stabilized for heating, and then it's going to wait for the nozzle to finish stabilizing before it starts printing, and then it's going to print a prime line across the bed. And that's how you would set that up. Pretty simple and easy. If you go into the machine limits, this is where you can set up, limits or anything like that. But I always go to the extruder first. I make sure the nozzle is set for the right nozzle. I'll look at this. I'll also adjust the length, Z-lift. You can do it. Retraction speeds I have set up in here. They're pretty aggressive, but the reason they're so aggressive is I found if I wasn't aggressive, I would have a lot of ooze at the end of my nozzle, and it would then get in the print, and it would look terrible. So that's why mine's a little bit more aggressive than normal. But other than that, everything is great. I'm looking at the numbers. Yeah. So let's go to the plate and let's go slice something. I'm going to grab a benchy. Okay, there's our benchy. So I'm going to do something kind of wonky. I am going to adjust it. I don't like it the way it is. I want to print it on an angle. There we go. Really aggressive. Really good angle. It looks kind of cool. Now, how am I going to print it like that? Because that's not going to work. Well, that's where paint on supports can come in. You can use paint on supports to paint your supports where you want them. So if I want my supports to go like this, I'm not a good drawer. Okay, I'm just going to color in here. Boom. That's done. I'll hit slice. Before you know it, there's my supports. Boom. Well, what if I need more supports and I can't paint in those areas? Go back to your print settings. Go to support material. Click on auto generate supports. Go back to your platter. Hit slice again. Now put supports in everywhere it thinks it needs supports, so that you get that good print all the time. And if you don't want it, you can always turn it off too. You can go File, Auto Generate Supports Off, and go Platter again. And hit Slice. And I get those. Let's look at some other options that are available in the 3D view. You have a trash can. You have a delete. You have an add. You also have your copy. You have your enlargement tools, so you can add an instance. You also have your variable layer height that you can set up, and your undo. You also have on here the cut tool. The cut tool is a little bit more complicated to talk about, but the idea is you can go through your print, you can angle it which way you want to. Let's do this one. Yeah. So you angle it and you can cut your object in half. There you go. And I'm going to perform the cut. There, now my bench is in 2 pieces. It's not. I got to move this away from it, and I'm going to move this like this. So say if you need to cut an item to make it, you can do that too. You can even put in block inserts. So something similar to the Sailor Moon print I did. It has little blocks that fit inside there, like little holes. You can put that into your image too and say, yeah, I want this piece be cut off, but I want there to be a block there and a block insert there, so I can put it together. And that can be done right in Cura Slicer. Don't ask me how to do it. I haven't gotten to that point yet, and that's a little bit more advanced talk than what this video is going to cover. You can also go undo, 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 undo. Put my benchy back together, please. There we go. You also have your scaling, movement. This is nice. Face, place on face. This puts a lot of faces down, and you can click on the face you want your thing to go. So if I want it like that, boom, it's on the face, and then I can hit enter. And there it goes. Locks into place. And then your print is normal. You hit slice. Then it's going to ask you where you want to save it. It'll give you 2 options. You can save it to your hard drive or save it to an SD card that you may have plugged into your computer. Me, I just save it on my hard drive and then push it off to Octoprint. It's fairly simple to use, easy to operate. And that's it. Once you have your file sliced, you just take it to your printer. Hopefully this has been a lot more information for you guys, and I hope that you found this interesting. I will be doing more with Cura Slicer in the future. There are some videos, they're like going to be like little sneaky little fixes and how to do stuff. But I do recommend giving it a shot. See if you like it. I actually don't mind it. And I do feel that Cura has gotten long in the tooth and needs a rework in the worst way possible. Because on my computer, it lags, it slows down. it's really painful on my laptop that has no video card. So if I'm not even using my video card for what do you call it, video speed up and such, well then that's, there we go. So I want to ask you, are you going to switch over? Is this something you're interested in? Also, keep in mind, we have a Voron that I will be doing soon live on the channel. And if you want more information on that, I highly suggest you watch my last video, which will be up in the corner and also in the description down below. Remember, like, subscribe, tell your friends about the channel. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that video for you guys, putting it together. And I always like to have interaction. It's kind of lonely doing it by yourself, so I always do live builds with an audience because, well, it's more fun that way. Then I can chat with you guys and know more about what you're up to, what you're doing, how was your latest build, if you're building a new printer or if you have anything to ask me, it's a good time to ask me then. Anyways, guys, I want to thank you so much also still for watching, and till next time, have fun 3D printing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.